Yeah. Good morning. My name is Jeppe Nielsen, and I'm a local city activist here in Aarhus because I care about the city. And I brought a friend. It's not a cat. It's a mole. I'll introduce him later. So, I'm a city activist, so I want to talk about how I do activism here in Aarhus and talk a little bit about how I see and approach the term radical city. I'm also a chairman of a local citizens council. And the local citizens council are platforms here in Aarhus for having the dialogue with the municipality and the politicians about the local area, the development in the neighborhood. But it's also a platform for energizing and mobilizing all the citizens in the area. So I'll give you a few examples of how we have worked with the community organizing through this citizen council. And at the same time, it's also a kind of my own journey as a city activist you're about to hear about. So this is my street. This is a very beautiful street. This is where my journey started as an activist. I invited my neighbors, along with others, to make my street a lot greener and give it a lot of love, basically. So we did that, and it was good. And it gave me more self-confidence in terms of working with my city. And afterwards, I figured out that maybe these 3 dogmas have helped me in the way I transform myself and develop and work as a city activist. So the first one is start in your own reality. Start with your own dreams. Start locally. Start with all the knowledge you have. Engage at eye level with people. That could be the municipality or your neighbors. It's all about doing stuff with people and not for people. And the third dogma is all about that you have to use the freedom that's within you. Sometimes we start to kind of give away our freedom by asking for permission or asking for money. And sometimes that's not good for you. So, when I had done the work in my street with my neighbors, I started dreaming about my neighborhood. I had these dreams about creating more life between buildings, more social life, more green life. So some of us came up with this idea about creating this, you could say, plant bench, and building it together with the other citizens in the neighborhood. So we had this building day last year where people got together. They actually bought these benches and they had to collect them themselves. So our aim was to try to make our co-citizens look as city makers instead of just users of the city. And we built 50 plant benches this very hot day last year, and they are all over in the neighborhood right now. So in this way, we fostered even more city ownership. And then there was a lot of relationship building going on as well. Yeah, it was pretty awesome, actually. And you can see the bench outside. As Stephen was saying to me, well, it's a front porch. You can sit on it, right? You can read a book. It's also a public bench with nature. Okay. Last year we had this Aarhus burn. Actually, that was my first burn. And what I was interested was about exploring the values of the city in the public spaces. So I did this experiment. I was challenging the social norms in the shopping center, a shopping center close by. What I did was I placed myself with this hat, and I had some challenging questions that people could draw, and then they had to do what they took out of the hat. For example, one challenge could be give 20 kroner to the next person you meet in the shopping center, or when you enter the elevator, turn around 180 degrees and look at the other people while riding the elevator, or sit down at the floor in the shopping mall, and so on and so on. Go dance or sing for 10 feet or 1 minute. And for me, it was very interesting to explore the values in a commercialized space that is often very policed. What will people actually do, and what won't they do? A lot of stuff. We can talk afterwards. A lot of people dared to do and took challenges. A lot of young people, but also mature people. So, talking about Radical City, as Stephen was saying, is also about talking about roots and fundamentals. So for me, this has been a fight, a root fight, you could say. For the last weeks, we've been fighting to save these villas in my neighborhood, these old Italian villas that are threatened by demolition. But we have actually managed through writing op-eds, doing demonstrations, making a festival, and doing all other activistic stuff to save these villas. And the politicians are starting to listen to us. They are making a plan now, a policy for saving the cultural heritage in Aarhus, because it's going very fast these days and years, as Christian was telling, with putting high-rises up. So you can actually do community organizing. It works when you do it in a constructive way. Okay. Radical City is also about radical inclusion. It's about democracy, enhancing the democracy. In the city council, there are 31 human beings, the city council in Aarhus. So some of us did this activistic initiative called Species of Aarhus, and we are ambassadors for different animals or plants, and giving them a voice in the city development. And of course, making a better place for nature. You'll hear about that later in a lightning talk. Finally, we're about to end. This was the introduction to the theme, Radical City. It's all about mixing blood these days. It's all about integrating our thoughts and ideas about contemporary or permanent cities, mixing blood between burners and local people, especially on Saturday. So we'll just invite you guys to explore the theme with us. Thanks.